Hello everyone and welcome to Theme Park Worldwide, where we're here at the Drayton Manor Resort to come and experience the Wave for the first time.
I'm really excited to see how the Wave rides. Being a sit-down coaster now, I'm sure it's going to be much more comfortable.
So it used to be known as Shockwave, a stand-up roller coaster that operated from 1994 through until last year, 2023, and it's reopening this year as the Wave. It's had some new theming elements and of course a brand new train. The really exciting thing is they've actually lowered the height restriction to 1.2 now, which means many more people are going to be able to experience the Wave. It was 1.4 before. I think that definitely fits with the direction of the park moving forward.
I think that's brilliant because it means that a family who've got smaller kids will be able to ride it now.
Right then, so let's have a little look at it off-ride. It's just going up the lift hill. We'll make our way down to the queue line, check out some of the new theming, and then of course go and experience the ride. And we decided to say thank you to Drayton Manor for inviting us down this morning for a preview prior to park opening, so we can get a few rides in and of course see what it's like. And here it comes, the brand new train, sit-down train, built by Art Engineering of Germany. Here it comes. From looking at it off-ride, it looks nice and smooth, which I'm pleased about. Of course, Shockwave did end up being quite an uncomfortable experience, especially with it being a stand-up coaster, some of the elements on here, and also the restraints as well. Over its almost 30 years of operation, 29 years it was a stand-up coaster, it also started to get quite rough in places. You can tell the train definitely needed replacing. I think that's why Drayton Manor made the decision about what to do in the future. Obviously, it's a very different park now to what it was in 1994, very much a family park now, family focused. So there's probably a decision to make, you know, do they keep the ride as it was and buy new trains, but keep the height restriction at 1.4? But then of course, if they'd have done that, does it really fit with the new direction of the park? Another option was of course completely remove it and maybe replace it with something else more family friendly. Or the third option, which is the one that I'm pleased they went for, was keep the ride but reimagine it and lower the height restriction and hopefully make it a more comfortable experience as well. So I'm sure there'll be quite a few people that are probably disappointed that it's no longer a stand-up, but I'm just pleased that hopefully it's going to be a more comfortable ride experience.
I think it's going to be much more re-rideable now, which is great. It's going to be much more comfortable, fingers crossed.
Now of course the layout's got 4 inversions on here. You know, it was always a nice enjoyable layout, but of course you got this straight section of track just down here that wouldn't have been the most exciting. Now it's not a stand-up coaster. So what they've actually done is added a new little near-miss element. There's a billboard just over here now, Brave the Wave, as you can see just over there, and I've got to say, I think that looks pretty good. This has a nice little near miss as the train makes its way through, a bit of a head chopper element as you're coming down here. Yeah, it looks pretty good from this angle, and we'll get a few more shots as well from down here. But yeah, I do think that looks good. When Adventure Cove opened a few years ago, when they rethemed this whole area, they painted up all the station already, so that's already looking fantastic, as we can see. Let's have a look at the entrance portals. Yeah, Brave the Wave. I like the billboard. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Swarm down at Thorpe Park. It's got that on the top. And here's the entrance signs. It's kind of like a bit of a lifeguard station that they've gone for here. Nice new sign up there as well with the surfboards coming out. Saltwater Soul Travel Co. That's a great angle, and of course you go through that near-miss element just before going up into the corkscrew just there. Yeah, this is looking nice. Surfboards out the front. Very colourful. And what a day for it today as well. So of course you mentioned the height restriction is now 1.2, which also makes it, as the park of branding, the UK's most thrilling family coaster. So yeah, 1.2 coaster that's actually got, of course, you know, 4 inversions. So yeah, I think that's fantastic. Nice sign down here, and there's a small little beach area just out the front. This looks better, because obviously before, Shockwave never really had a big entrance sign. I remember for many years the logo was just up on the side of the building, and then they put the Shockwave logo on the board just here, and then of course now they've built that proper like lifeguard watchtower just out the front, which is looking good. Let's make our way down here for our first time experiencing it. So yeah, looking forward to it. Lots of new things to see in the queue line. That's a sign that I like to see. Front row queuing is available. I do like it. I think all major coasters, there should be an option to wait in the front row queue. And of course you can see just over here. So yeah, 1.2 minimum height to ride. Guests under 1.32 must be accompanied by a responsible person aged 16 plus. And you can see some nice new signs. Ride the Crest, the Wave experience at Adventure Cove, Drayton Manor. Surf's calling. Oh, they've made this look a lot better in here. Lots of nice new signage all the way around. Chase the sun, chase the fun. Surf's calling. This is much better because it wasn't really a nice place to queue down here, was it? So yeah, this is looking a lot better. And we got some new music as well. It was always quite dark and dingy in here, so they've painted it up all blue, got some more lively music, things like the surfboard. It looks a lot better around here, doesn't it?
It looks lovely. I like the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's nice, quite groovy. Making your way around. Ride the wave. Adventure awaits at Drayton Manor.
Welcome to the wave.
Oh, it's like the radio station, kind of continuing from outside. Yeah, it's definitely looking a lot better in here than it did before. Liking all the new signage. Oh, this looks way better around here.
Nice and bright.
It is, yeah, because before it was just like the wooden panels on the walls. Obviously now it's got a bit more to it. It's a brave the wave. So the company that have built this new train for the wave here at Drayton Manor have built various trains before. Art Engineering, they've also built a coaster which is called Cannibal out at Lagoon. And apparently, I've not been on that, but apparently it's quite smooth and enjoyable. So I'm looking forward just to seeing how this rides. It's nice that it's got a more cohesive theme here now, because before it was kind of Wild West, but it wasn't, if that made sense as well. So this is looking good. Here we are up into the station. A few more surfboards and things around in here. It's looking good. And here comes the train. The question is, the brakes are going to be sharp. Hey! Here it comes, our first close-up look at the train for the wave. I do like how it's yellow. Fits with the kind of original kind of colour scheme of it. There it comes, lap bars, and also got the leg grips just around there as well. But overall, the train looks pretty good. The only thing I don't like with the train is the big yellow bar on the front. I think it would have been nice if that was like a surfboard or something else. But luckily the other rows don't have a yellow bar going across the front. Seats look quite spacious actually as well. And you can see like the bar coming across just there for your legs. I don't think that's going to be too tight though. And then the lap bar's just there. Looks quite a large lap bar, but hopefully it's going to be nice and comfortable. Plenty of room to get in and out of the trains just here as well, which is good. Instead of having, you know, like big kind of sides on to step over, yeah, it's literally just stepped right across. It was always one, wasn't it, for getting onto it, you know, so it's going to be a lot easier. Just had our first ride here on Shockwave Reimagined into the wave here at Drayton Manor, and before we share our full thoughts, we're just going to join the queue for a second ride. Unfortunately, they've not allowed us to film on the ride today, but I did just put in the official on-ride POV for you so that you can see that, and I'll share some off-ride shots for you now so you can see it from various different angles. I'll have another go. This time we're going to wait for the front row, and then we'll share our full thoughts on the wave. And we're just in the queue then now for our second ride, and also showing you the back of that new train from here as well. You can see all the wheel assembly just down there, and also from here you get a good idea on how they've actually raised up the station because of the new train design here as well. So you can see how they've built the decking on either side just to raise that up. New baggage hold just over there, which I really do like as well. That's a lot better than how it was before. Didn't really have a proper baggage hold for years, and then it had one but wasn't that big, and now it's got like a proper one. It looks very colourful and matches the train, as we can see from here as well. So we're actually waiting for a front row ride now, so we'll see how it is down on the front. Hopefully that bar on the front of the train doesn't kind of restrict our view too much. I guess we'll see. So you can see this here now, you got a bit of a ramp that leads up to the raised up station. Brand new air gates as well, these are looking nice. That's the thing, so much more than just the new train here on the Wave. Yeah, you can see from here as well how it's raised up. Just over at that side too. Let's go. Let's brave the Wave for a second time. So we've just experienced the Wave on two different occasions here at Drayton Manor, one a little bit further back and of course one on the front row. I'm going to go through our full review of the experience now, starting off with the queue line, the entrance area and just how it fits in with Adventure Cove. They've done a really good job, haven't they?
It is so colourful and vibrant, and the billboard is definitely my favourite.
I'm glad they put the billboard in because of course it would have looked a bit plain without it, especially on that straight section of track. So I think it's nice how they've added that. Having the lifeguard kind of watchtower, that's a really nice addition, and the fact that's got the big Wave entrance sign on there. So it just fits in really nice with Adventure Cove, of course the area that opened a few years ago here at the park. So they've done a really good job with that. Big improvements to the queue line as well. It was quite dark and dingy in there before. It was just kind of black and blue painted walls, whereas now they've introduced some yellow in there, some orange. They've got all the new signage in there. There's some surfboards around. There's just a lot more to look at in the queue line. Of course it does only have one train, so the queues are still going to build up quite a bit on this. So it's nice that they've made that a more enjoyable area, and the music I thought was nice in there as well, and that continues on up to the station really, doesn't it?
Oh, the station's looking really good. Like, you've got surfboards everywhere, new signage, and you have got a front row queue, which is brilliant.
I'm glad they've kept that. Like, you know, it's always nice when parks do think about, you know, people who want to wait for the front row. I'm glad they've kept it. Shockwave had it before, and that's still the case on the Wave. Of course, they've raised up the platform because of the new design of the new train. They've also thought about the overall kind of aesthetic in there. It just looks really nice, and it fits more with the exterior now, how that was bright and colourful. The station was still quite dark and dingy, whereas now it all fits with more of a cohesive theme, which I'm pleased about. Then we go on to the new train itself from Art Engineering. Of course, we didn't know how this was going to be, you know, because they brought in another company. The ride was originally manufactured by Intamin, and yeah, they brought in Art Engineering to build the train, and I've got to say, it was really comfortable to sit in, wasn't it?
The trains were so comfortable, much more comfortable than Shockwave was.
Oh no, just to step onto the train was a lot easier as well. You know, not having to mess about with the, you know, putting one shoulder in, then pulling one of the harnesses down. It was a very awkward ride to get on. It wasn't just Shockwave, stand-up coasters in general. So I think it was quite nice how, you know, how easy it was just to sit in your seat. They're quite roomy as well, quite spacious, the seats. And then of course you've got the lap bar restraint on there, which is quite large. Initially I was thinking, is it going to be really tight? Not at all. Like, it's actually really comfortable, or at least it was on me anyway.
Yeah, it's quite nice and roomy on there, but the seats were just so comfortable, which is even better.
It was good, like quite a nice headrest on there, around there as well, which was good. And also the fact you've got the kind of leg restraint. I don't really want to call it a leg restraint because it doesn't actually touch your legs. It's just a leg grip, so to speak. So I didn't know how that was going to be. I didn't know if it was going to kind of clamp onto your leg, which might have been quite uncomfortable. It doesn't. It just kind of sits around your leg. It's more just to stop them being whacked out to the side or outside of the train. So it's more there from that safety perspective than it is to actually grip your leg tight. So I thought the train overall very comfortable. I think it looks nice with the yellow. There's one thing about the train that I don't think it looks great, and that's the front, the big bar on there.
Yeah, I feel like that hopefully in the future they do something to that, because it just looks a bit out of place. I can understand it's got to be there, but maybe theme it.
Yeah, I think the reason the bar's there, obviously, so in the station, if you're on the front row, kid, you're not just stepping forward onto the track. So there needs something there, but a proper zero car would have been better. Or if it's now been designed with the bar in place, even just a surfboard on the front or something like that would be great. Maybe with just a Drayton Manor Resort logo on, the Wave logo, just literally attached onto the front would make it better. Now, let's talk about the actual ride experience. Lift hill, you know, pretty slow heading up like it always has been really, but it lets you enjoy the nice surrounding views with the lake, because of course the ride's in a good location. And then onto the ride itself, of course 4 inversions on there, starting off with the loop. It felt really free, you know, just going on there with the lap bar. Weird, like after so many years of riding it, well, as long as the coast existed, riding it with the over-the-shoulder restraints to the stand-up, it was quite a weird feeling at first, wasn't it?
It was, because when I've done Shockwave before, I'm proper holding on, whereas this, I just felt so free. And can we say how smooth this coaster is?
Straight away, we noticed how smooth it was. As soon as we left the lift hill, straight away you noticed just how smooth of a ride it was. No head banging or anything like that. It gracefully made its way around the layout. But yeah, the loop was good. Got a bit of hang time on there with how slow it takes the loop, and then up into the 0G roll. As much as it was unique on there as a stand-up, that was the most uncomfortable part of the experience before. In fact, it was the only stand-up roller coaster in the world to have a 0G roll, and you can see why, to be honest. So having that as a sit-down now was much more comfortable, much more enjoyable, and you actually got a lot of whip on there, even though it's a sit-down now.
I found some of the sections quite intense on there, so that's really good to see that it's kept a bit of intensity.
Yeah, it's much quieter now. It doesn't have the same kind of roar as it's going round, and you'll probably hear it again just behind us, but it's still got a bit of a noise, but not so much of a roar now, but so comfortable. And then into the final 2 inversions, which are 2 corkscrews. Again, it took them with quite some speed, quite fast through them elements compared to the loop, for example, at the start of the layout. And then of course you still got the iconic sharp brakes, but to be honest, they're not as uncomfortable now because you're not standing up. You don't really get jolted your shoulders into the restraint. Now you just kind of move forward a little bit sitting down. So overall, I was quite impressed. I think the biggest take from this, the biggest positive, is the fact that the height restriction is now 1.2 from 1.4. They didn't even just lower it to like 1.3, bringing it all the way down to a 1.2. I think is great, and it feels weird like seeing kids actually up there in the station who look tiny and riding on this thing.
Definitely, it means that more families can enjoy it as a family and not certain people waiting off because they're not high enough.
Yeah, it's a lot better for them, and it fits with the direction of the park. I can see why some may still be disappointed that it's no longer a stand-up coaster, but for the direction of Drayton Manor moving forwards, I think it was a good move. I think there was 3 options like I spoke about earlier on: removal, do this, or keep, you know, buy a train it's 1.4, which would have been pointless really. You know, bringing the height restriction down to what it is fits with the park. It rides really smooth. You can tell the track's still got quite a lot of years left in that life of that track and doesn't need replacing yet. Just goes to show that Intamin, when they manufactured that all them years ago, 1994, did a really good job, because the track, it rides beautifully smooth as it's making its way around the layout. There's no rattle or anything like that. So our engineering have done a very good job. So it's a thumbs up from us. Well themed, height restriction come down, very comfortable, not too restrictive. I think the only one thing, like we said, was just on the front of the train. They could make it look better, because it's not the prettiest train to look at from the front, but it rides good. That's the main thing. From just an overall kind of aesthetic point of view, I think it would have been nice if they'd have pressure washed the track as well. It does look quite dirty, so hopefully at some point, even if it's just a couple of nights after park close, they can pressure wash the track, because it just needs to, you know, just look a little bit dirty in places still. But still, overall, great addition to Drayton Manor. Nice that they've made the change, and a lot more people coming to this park are going to be able to ride that coaster now, which is great. That isn't, of course, the only new addition here at Drayton Manor though for 2024. They're building the new Intamin coaster at the other side of the park with a launch and a lift hill. So before we wrap up the vlog, let's just go and have a little look over there and see how the construction's progressing on that. So we'll start off over here at Accelerator by taking a look at this new branding that's appeared on the side of the building. I do really like this new sign, High Voltage Electric Co. And as you can see here, it says the Gym Green Track Lightning Power. Yeah, I do really like that. Like, it looks fantastic. So it shows there's definitely some sort of changes coming to Accelerator in the future. But the fact that it says the Gym Green Track on there makes me think we're not going to be seeing a track repaint anytime in the near future, but you never know, unless that's just temporary for this year until they do repaint the track on there. But still, at least they've kind of fit it in with the storyline a bit more of the area. There's also one round here on the front of the building, and they've started to paint even more of the building as well, and actually put some more cladding just up there and started to paint it all so it fits a bit more with Frontier Falls, which is certainly positive to see. I'm just going to have a little look up at the new roller coaster itself. As you can see, the station building's progressed a lot now since we were last here. All the buildings now being cladded out round at the side. And you can see that bit on the top, which looks like it's going to be for some sort of turret or steeple, maybe a clock tower or something like that. So yeah, that's looking really good. The station is massive as well. Let's get a couple more angles up here at the top. I do like what they did though with all these buildings here. It does look great. And the Drayton Manor jail. As you can see, there's a lot more landscaping work starting to take place around here now. You can see all the gravel and stones. You got some more details going on the buildings down there at the back. And also the maintenance building and the launch track down there at the back are now enclosed as well. So we'll probably get some better views of that from round the corner. And here we go then, much better view from on this side. So of course this is the existing toilet block that they put all the wooden cladding on. And just behind it you can see the launch track, which is down the right hand side, has been enclosed in that building. And of course the steel structure was going in last time we were here at the park, and now that's got all the wooden cladding on. And the building down there at the back is the maintenance shed as well, and that's all been enclosed in. So of course we know now there's going to be an indoor show scene as part of the launch, and of course all the maintenance building covered in as well. So it's looking really good. Really impressed with what we're seeing with this new coaster. Oh, here's another angle, and what's really cool from here is that we can see one of the trains just over there as well. And there you can see that it's been uncovered. Zoom in a little bit there for you. Yeah, on the front there you can see some of the detailing, kind of looks a little bit like a mine cart. And yeah, I'm really liking the look of the trains on this. Very excited for this ride. Of course, we still don't know yet when it's going to open, but still a lot of groundwork to be done, and still of course working on the buildings. I'm sure it's going to be ready though in time for the peak summer rush. I'm sure that's what Drayton Manor are definitely aiming for here with the opening of this new roller coaster. What an exciting year for the park though. And here's one final look at the new coaster from round here at the front of the station building. Yeah, you can see it's absolutely massive. And the part of the building on the right hand side there, that's where you've got the steps that lead up to the station. Loading of course there on the right hand side. You can see the air gates, and then offload on the left. So yeah, this is the last part of the layout, the track that we can see here of course, where the train will come back in at the end of the ride. Really looking forward to this one. And actually, just as we're making our way out of the park, there's another awesome view there looking over towards the maintenance building, which we can see here closest to us, and then the other building just behind it there, which has got the launch enclosed in it as well. Well, that's going to do it for our day down here at the Drayton Manor Resort. Thanks to the park for inviting us down, and we did really enjoy the wave. It was good getting on there, and if you come in here, especially if you've just reached 1.2, you're going to really enjoy it. It's a very smooth, comfortable ride.
So smooth, and it's so good that the height's been brought down so many more people can enjoy it.
Definitely, it's really good to see with the direction of Drayton Manor moving forward, and of course so much investment over these past few years, and this year really is the biggest year for that investment, not just with the wave, but also with the new coaster you can see there just behind us. I'm really excited to find out more details on it. We're still not too sure exactly when it's going to open, but you can see there's still quite a lot of groundwork to be done, testing to be done as well. But the train's on the track, they've been doing clearance testing and that sort of thing, but I think it's going to be quite a while still yet before we see this ride open here at the park. But still look forward to experiencing it. We'll be down here when it does, and taking you along for the full experience and sharing our thoughts on it as well. But just to see so much investment into this park, we've both been visiting a lot at Drayton Manor for many years. And Charlotte, you grew up coming here, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, so this was my local park. We used to come here all the time when I was a kid. I can remember when you used to wear a wristband to come into the park, and so it's really nice to see so much investment coming.
It is, because there was a worrying couple of years, you know, go back 5 years for Drayton Manor. Like, it was quite a worrying time. Just to see all this fresh investment and changes coming in is really positive to see. So thanks for joining us here on Theme Park Worldwide, and of course make sure you check out all the vlogs we've posted over the past week and a half from our 3 different trips we did. We've had a great time so far this year, doing all sorts of different trips. And of course, we're heading out to the USA in the next couple of days.
Oh, I'm so excited. We're off to Cedar Point.
Hey, we've got Top Thrill 2 coming up. We're doing some other parks as well around the New York and New Jersey area. So come and join us for that here on the channel. But even Drayton Manor, that leaves me one final thing to say. Get out there and keep on riding. Bye.